Hey there, my friends. Looks like I am live. This is Carrie Konyha at holisticspsychic.com in Sedona, Arizona. Just chiming in here to share some insights about the astrological energies that are showing up this week. For those of you who are familiar with me, you know that I just uploaded a video 2 days ago that is talking about the highlights regarding Leo season in general. And so in this video, I'm just going to share some additional insights around the energies that are coming up this week around the first quarter moon. So we are just a few hours into the first quarter moon. That means we are 1/4 of the way through the current lunar month. We had the new moon a week ago. And so this is a good day to review whatever intentions you had set for yourself on the new moon. If you have not set an intention yet, there's still time. This is a really good time. And so what I'm going to talk about today is like the best way to work with the energies that are showing up. So the first thing that I want to mention is that the first quarter moon is happening in the sign of Scorpio, which is a water sign. The new moon happened in the sign of Cancer, which was also a water sign. And so we're getting a lot of water energy, which stirs our emotions. When I'm looking at the chart here for this week, I've got it printed out right here. I'm noticing that there's a lot of fire element and a lot of earth element. And although there's really just the moon, Neptune, and Saturn in water signs right now, because Neptune and the moon are connected to water signs, we're still feeling that energy a lot. And because of the highlighted fire element and earth element, we more than likely are feeling a little bit heavy in our actual physical bodies, feeling like almost like an inflammatory type of energy that we could feel as aches and pains in our muscles, our joints. I'm feeling it. If you're feeling it, let me know. Feel free to contribute in the comments below. I've been feeling it for the past few days. And yeah, so the Scorpio energy is with the first quarter moon is also squaring the sun today. And when we have a square between the moon and the sun, it is bringing awareness and consciousness to what has been going on or kind of lurking behind the scenes unconsciously. The moon represents the unconscious self, while the sun represents the conscious self, the awareness, our self identity. And so, with this combination, with the moon being in the water sign of Scorpio and the sun being in Leo, which is a fire sign, more than likely the way we're experiencing this is having a little bit more of an awareness of, what's been going on the deep inner emotional levels that perhaps has caused a little bit of internal turbulence, so to speak. And so it's a really good time, even though we're in the waxing moon where we're growing to the full moon, it's definitely a good time to at least be doing activities to support that clear awareness around what's going on emotionally, and perhaps doing physical practices because we have all of this earth energy coming in. Physical practices that help us to feel grounded, balanced, and centered are good ideas right now. Now, the moon is also squaring Pluto. And this is significant because Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio, and the moon is in Scorpio. And the square between Pluto and the moon is all about taking our power back. We have a secondary astrological transit or aspect, I should say, that's happening right now that is further emphasizing this. And this is the fact that Chiron just went retrograde in Aries. Retrogrades, let's remember, are about reflecting. It can also be about retrieving. So, retrieving with Chiron retrograde, Chiron again represents the archetype of the wounded healer. Aries is the warrior, sacred warrior, spiritual warrior. and retrieving our power, right? So this week, I did talk about this in the video that I uploaded 2 days ago, but it's really showing up this week. Retrieving our power, taking our power back is the main theme for all of us collectively right now. Of course, we know that the nodes just recently shifted into the Aries Libra axis, which brings in themes around evaluating where we're at with ourselves, our relationship with ourselves and other relationship. And then the Venus retrograde is, gaining some momentum right now. Venus just went retrograde a few days ago. And that also brings in relationship themes as well. So, some of these things I talked about a little bit more extensively in the video that I just uploaded 2 days ago, the Leo season video. So, you can check that out as a complimentary information that goes along with this video that I'm doing right now. But I want to share a few other things. And I'm looking down just because I'm looking at the chart here. So, the nodes of the moon, we have Pluto squaring the nodes of the moon, and right now we still have the sun squaring the nodes of the moon. Pluto squaring the nodes of the moon is supporting, again, that deep taking our power back. It is, Pluto's a lot about deep alchemical shifts, changes, growth, accessing the deep unconscious levels of us, reclaiming parts of us that have been hiding out in our shadows, so to speak, which is, really highlighted right now. And then the sun squaring the nodes right now is also illuminating our awareness around where we have not fully been in our empowerment. And that is what enables us to take our power back. First, having the awareness of where we haven't been in our power. This is a really good week to have some self reflection, especially because of the retrogrades with Chiron and Venus. Again, the retrogrades are a lot about periods of reflection. So, reflecting upon where have I not been fully in my power and how can I take my power back? Reflecting upon that, journaling about that. If you have your own tarot deck or oracle deck, working with some form of divination cards to get some specific information for yourself along those lines. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about here? The Venus retrograde that's happening right now is also reminding us where we can show up for ourselves. Asking yourself, in what areas of my life do I need to show up for myself a little bit more? How can I show up for my self care? And then, of course, taking action on that. How can I align my self worth with my values? These are some inquiries that are aligned with the energies that are showing up this week that can, in taking some time for reflecting upon these things, can really support your own personal growth and evolution. And then, of course, we're just a few days into Leo season right now. Leo is a lot about creative self expression. So, asking yourself how you can let your inner creativity come out and play. Okay. Remember, we are coming into the height of summer right now. And so ultimately, this time that we're in right now, this period of time in the wheel of the year that we're in right now is a lot about our personal ripening, coming into our ripening, coming into our full exuberance. So all of these astrological aspects that are happening right now that are supporting us in reclaiming our power ultimately is serving the purpose of enabling us to come more into our ripened, full bloom, blossoming self expression. There's a few other things that I think I want to talk about here. Okay. Venus is making a positive sextile aspect to the moon today, which further supports us in self-reflection around where we're at with the relationship themes in our life. And I really feel that right now it's a lot about our relationship with ourselves. This reclaiming our power thing is reclaiming our self-love, reclaiming our self-value, reclaiming our self-worth. And the way that we do that is by literally taking action based on whatever awarenesses that we have around these things. So if you have an idea, oh, I can reclaim my self worth through doing this, and then going ahead and doing that. How have you been showing up for your self love lately? How have you been feeling guided? How have you been more aware of where you maybe need to show up a little bit more for your self love and self worth? Share in the comments here or in the chat about that. And so then Pluto, I want to talk about Pluto a little bit more because it is connected with the first quarter moon with that square aspect, but it's also making a positive sextile aspect to Neptune and Pisces right now. Neptune and Pisces is powerfully intuitive. So we want to lean into our intuition. And because it's indirectly connected to what's going on with the moon through Pluto, more than likely the intuitions that are coming up this week are going to be on a more of a sensing feeling level intuitively, uh, rather than mental awareness level, because of this sextile that Pluto is doing with Neptune. And then Neptune is also making a positive trine aspect to the sun. And so illuminating our awareness as to what's going on intuitively speaking. So in this video, I'm really just talking about the things that are directly impacting this first quarter moon. I talked a little bit more about, again, the overall uh, energies that are showing up for Leo season in the video that I uploaded the other day. But as we're talking about intuition here, I want to remind us all that my online Empowering Intuition apprenticeship program is starting this October, and there's still time to sign up. I am going to put a link in the description below so that you can find more information about that if you're interested. This is an amazing program for anybody who is wanting to develop their intuition. If you are an empathic person, for example, that feels somewhat overwhelmed by your intuition, then this program also teaches you how to harness the power of your intuition in a way that feels like a gift rather than something that can feel that it's overwhelming you or um, almost more like a handicap. I know that empaths can feel that way sometimes. Believe me, I know. I'm an empath myself. Takes one to know one. I've been teaching psychic development as a professional psychic. I've been teaching courses in psychic development since 1994. And so that's what, 30 years, almost 30 years. So my program is super dialed in. And it's great for people who are beginners who want to explore their intuition. If anybody who is interested in establishing a foundation in preparation for moving into any type of healing arts career, my program is going to support that as well. So, anyway, check that out in the description below. And I want to read some cards for us. I'm going to just pull a few cards for us today around the, collective energies that are showing up. Okay, these two just fell out, so let me go ahead and pick one more here. I'm working with my relatively new tarot deck called the Light Seers Tarot. I got this deck a few weeks ago and I'm really loving working with this deck. Let me select one more card because I was going to choose 3 and 2 fell out. I kind of knew we were going to get this. Okay, so we have, I'm going to show them to you in a moment here. We have the Star card, the Empress card, and the 9 of Swords. I really feel this is very fitting for the energies that are showing up right now. The Empress card and the Star card both represent our soul evolution journeys because they're the major arcana cards. And then we have the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is a strong message to let go of, liberate yourself from anything that is in the spectrum of thoughts that are worrisome, fear based. Typically, as an overall theme connected to this card, I collectively call it shadow thinking. It's all of the worries, doubts, fears, concerns, most of which are never going to happen. This is connected to the taking our power back theme. With the energies that are showing up right now that I've spoken of, with the square between the sun and the moon, bringing awareness to that which has been going on unconsciously. For us collectively, this is an opportunity where we can become more consciously aware of where we've been unconsciously stuck in the realm of shadow of our thoughts and even our feelings right now. Where have we been ruminating over thoughts or emotions that are denser, lower vibration, that have been keeping us somehow stuck in some type of rut? And the message when this card comes up is that we can now liberate ourselves from those things. And the way that we liberate ourselves from those things is like through mentally changing the channel. It's very difficult to access, whether you want to call it higher guidance, insights from your higher self, spirit, God, universe, cosmic consciousness. It's very difficult to have clear access to divinely inspired higher guidance when our mind is clouded with worries, doubts, fears, concerns. If we're completely consumed with worrisome thoughts or feelings, it's difficult for us to sense or feel or hear beyond that. And one of the ways we take our power back is by not feeding the ruminating over the thoughts or the emotions. Again, mentally changing the channel, so to speak, or calming the mind. Meditation, choosing to focus your attention elsewhere, purposely focusing on calming the mind so that you can access higher guidance is one of the best practices that we can do this week. And it's going to lead to you taking your power back. Mark my words. I invite you to try it and then come back and comment here below and how it made a positive shift for you. And then the Empress card and the Star card. The Empress card is the energy of self-nurturing, self-care, self-love. It can also be about being patient with yourself around how you're nurturing yourself and what will come with of that. And the reason I say that is because in most tarot decks, the Empress is depicted as being pregnant, right? And so there are wisdom teachings around this that have to do with being patient. It takes time for the moon to grow full. It takes time to go through any type of gestation period in your life, right? For example, if using the example of pregnancy, no matter how bad you might want to have that baby earlier than 9, 10 months, it's not going to happen if that baby's going to be healthy. We have to hold space. We have to be really diligent on focusing or holding space for what we are nurturing and allowing for things to come into being in alignment with divine timing and not trying to push or force. Okay. And then the Star card, I always associate the Star card with the energy that is connected with the north node of the moon, because the north node of the moon represents what our soul naturally gravitates towards, our soul calling. And then the star card represents that as well. The star card represents our metaphoric north star, what our soul gravitates towards. And this is what we want to stay focused on as we're calling our power back, as we're reclaiming our power. We're reclaiming our power in ways that are going to energetically feed and support us in more clearly aligning with what we feel to be a higher calling. There's nothing more powerful than taking action in alignment with what your true passions, creative ambitions are. Taking action based on those things is us aligning with our higher calling in the here and now. It's not like it's a place that we're trying to get to in the future. We can anchor the timeline of us being actively engaged with our highest expression of life in the here and now by taking action on what our passions and creative enthusiasms are in the here and now. Doing what you love in the here and now is what activates that timeline reality, so to speak. That's what activates that experiential feeling of us living in alignment with our higher path, our path. Hey, Jennifer, I love this deck too. I'm really getting into it. I usually love decks that stick very closely to the traditional Rider Waite deck, because that is the deck that I originally learned on. And to some degree, this deck sticks pretty closely traditionally to those messages and meanings. So I'm really loving this deck. So anyway, I'm just looking down at this chart here to see if there's anything else that I am leaving out. I'm going to say this in closing. What are you blossoming into? What are you ripening within yourself, right? The keyword ripening, the keyword taking your power back, the keyword self nurturing, reflecting upon your relationship with yourself is a really good way to harness the power of the Venus retrograde. As usual, I'm sure there's probably several things I'm going to think of that I could have mentioned when I close this video, but nothing else is coming to my mind now. I am going to be coming back on regularly, of course, throughout the next several weeks with some additional info. Of course, I'm going to be chiming in for the full moon. And I'm also preparing some videos that are more about the intuitive development aspect of what I'm doing as well, to give you a little sneak peek as to what's going to be going on with the online apprenticeship program. So thanks for tuning in, guys. All my love, blessings, and I'm going to see you around the corner in the next video.